Heather Park, and I'm here with my co-host, Michael Hoffman. We're from the Santa Fe Institute of Mediumship and Spiritual Studies, and we're going to be interviewing James Hafer and Jeremy Kaylor today about their spiritual development class. It's a beginner's course, although anyone who's intermediate or advanced can join. So thanks so much for being here. We just wanted to ask you a couple of basic questions about what the course is going to cover. In the description, you guys mentioned that spirit communicates in a couple of different ways. And so if you guys wouldn't mind just discussing how through color and symbols and impressions, we as students might be able to understand how spirit is communicating with us.
Sure. Thank you, Heather and Michael. Pleasure to be here and be able to offer this class at Santa Fe Institute. As Heather said, this is a class that is probably more geared to beginners. However, anybody that is more advanced certainly can join. Just found over the course of time that everybody in class, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced, everybody continues to learn from everybody else during this entire process. So please don't feel like just because you have done readings, you have worked at this, that you are not welcome, because what we're going to be offering would be able to help and accentuate anybody's mediumship. So we're happy to have everybody there with us. As far as the class goes, we think it's vital to begin with some type of spiritual teaching of some type. That will start out with some type of spiritual short little lecture, probably a half an hour. That'll open up to a discussion then. Generally, what is presented affects people in their lives and can help them to start relating what's going on spiritually, which also helps your vibration and your connection with spirit, and then the discussion afterwards. And so that's a vital part that I certainly have found over the course of time in my development. And Jeremy, why don't you take it in the next part?
And so we have learned and we understand that spirit, not having that physical body, communicates through symbols. They communicate through images. They communicate through impressions. And our soul connects with their soul on a vibrational level. And so what we're going to help all of our students understand is, when you think of that tree, what does that tree mean to you? And what message is that individual from the spirit world, impressing you with? What do they want you to say because they're showing you that tree? And then if we take that tree to the next level and we color it a beautiful blue, what does the blue mean? And now we've enhanced our message. And you're going to find, whether you're a brand new student or you're a lifelong student of mediumship and spirit communication, that the symbols we get from spirit are vast and wide and complex. And the more we can break them down and pinpoint the pieces of it, it really enhances and, it flavors the messages that we give from spirit. And so that's one of the pieces we're going to be working on, is understanding that communication, because it's not typically like we're communicating right now, where you hear words. That's the element that we spend a lot of time practicing on, and helping you understand that, okay, I'm thinking of a tree, that really is coming from spirit. That really is coming from a soul that no longer has a physical body. It's not just something I'm thinking of. And we reinforce that, and we help to separate our physicalness from the spirit and the soul that we are.
Mm-hmm. Great. And Jimmy, can I ask you a question? So is my blue tree that I'm getting an impression of the same as your blue tree, or are these individual to us and our experience?
It's going to be a little bit of both. There are what we call universal symbols. They should mean the same to everybody, no matter who you are, where you're from. And then there are personal symbols, and those are meaningful to you, and have a message that only you would understand, versus someone else. They're going to interpret it differently. And so we're going to explain that as well. We're going to help you understand what those universal symbols are, and then what those personal symbols are, both.
Oh, wonderful.
And also, if I may add, I think it's very important too for those especially beginning, ask them, how am I going to put this together? What am I going to do with all this? That is one of the main things we'll be doing in this class. Everybody's, I call it your mechanism, if you will, your body and how you perceive. Everybody does it differently. Jeremy does it differently than I. We are going to be working with each individual who is there to help them to understand and realize, how does your specific body and your specific spirit soul work with this energetic. So as he said, well, if I see something blue, it might mean something and trigger something really important to me, because blue was something very important in my life, whereas Jeremy's might not be not so meaningful. And so he is going to have a whole different way in which he interprets. Everybody we're going to work with we're going to find out and learn what your specific mechanism is like. And then we're going to help you move forward with that.
Yeah, I love that, because the idea that there are universal symbols, but then we all have our own experiences within being human. There are two different ways of interpreting, right? So this is also a course about personal work and understanding where we are in our lives and how those symbols will come up for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jeremy, what would be the results of the participants participating in this class? What will they take away in terms of skills or abilities to be able to communicate with those who are departed in the other world? I know that might be a loaded question, but
I think the first thing that we're going to help everyone understand is that spirit, those in the world of spirit, really are coming from a place of love and a place of understanding. They want us to grow spiritually. They want us to grow with our consciousness, and they're there to help us with that process. And so when we can help someone understand, wait a minute, there's more than just this physicalness, and life continues beyond death, and there's a reason for that. That gives all of us, each individual who takes this class, a purpose and a vision and some forward movement. So there's definitely an element of that. It also is you're going to walk away from this class being able to differentiate between what is my physical thought and what is really coming from spirit, and where that guidance is coming from, so that you don't go, well, that's just me and I'm making it all up. No, it really is. You can feel that vibrational difference, and that's one of the big things you're going to walk away with.
Also, I think really important is we are going to help you know, as Jeremy said, how spirit is working with you, especially in the aspects of, how do I see spirit? Well, we're going to help you to understand what that is. So by the end of the class, you will definitely know what it's like to be clairvoyant or actually seeing spirit. You will understand and be able to utilize much better something that's clairaudient, or I can hear them speak to me. Or the third part of this would be, probably for this class, would be the feeling. I feel them move into me, and I feel like this is Great Aunt Mary here, or that very clairsentience about it. We are going to help you, and by the end of this class, you will be able to distinguish a lot of these features that I've just mentioned. Additionally, I just want to add that working with spirit is one of the most wonderful things that I've ever experienced in my entire life. It helps you, yes, spiritually, it most certainly does, but also on a very personal level, this makes you expand as a soul, as a person, as you move into this thought of working with spirit. It is the most incredible journey and path that you enter upon.
I love that.
Yeah, and I'd like to add also that the Institute is an institute that is dedicated to bring forth knowledge and wisdom about spiritual realms, but it also, in that process, collapses all of those fear-based belief systems that we've been exposed to as we've grown up. So we want to, I think, emphasize, and I think we all agree that we are going to demystify, in certain respects, some of these fear-based beliefs that have come into our experience through culture, through religion, through interactions with other individuals in society. So I just wanted to verify that and acknowledge rather that that's exactly what we're going to be doing. Then you all agree with that?
Absolutely. You're going to find that as a spiritualist, as someone who communicates with spirit, we believe that there's truth in all religions. And so one of the things that Jim and I are going to be working on is we're going to be helping you connect those dots. This is the faith that I grew up. This is the belief that I grew up with. How does that really connect with my spiritual belief now? And reformatting those words, reformatting those thoughts so that you see it from a spiritual aspect, not a religious aspect.
Wonderful. And can I just ask for those people that might feel like they have to be born with some kind of special ability to communicate with spirit, is that the case, or can anyone do this?
Oh my, anybody can do this. And it is just learning. And I like the adage of, it's like tuning your tuner on a radio station. When you're tuning that dial, you are trying to get that dial to the very, very best sound that you can on that radio. Working with spirits like that, you just have to learn, how do I get my dial dialed appropriately to make that connection into the spirit world? That's what we're going to be helping you with, is learning to tune that tuner. And probably the biggest thing here is anybody walking into this is an understanding of love. Everything comes from a place of love, nothing else. Love is what connects all of us together. In the spirit world, the physical world, everything is connected. So everything comes from a place of love.
And just like anything, you're going to find those people who are just naturally gifted. They're naturally talented when it comes to spirit communication. It's going to be easy for them. And then there are going to be those of us that we have to work harder at it. But it is spirit really truly wants all of us to understand that they can communicate with us and we can communicate with them. This is something everyone could do. It's just how hard are you going to work at it to improve it to the place that you want it to be?
Wonderful. Well, I want to thank both you, James and Jeremy, for just explaining a little bit more about this course and the skill set that our students will gain. Michael, thanks so much for being here. And I just want to let anyone who's interested in this course know that they can go to www.sfimss.com to get more information. Thanks so much for being here, and we'll end here today.
Thank you.